to STL TV Live. I'm Ivy Hartman, and I'm very excited now to welcome with me in the studio Cecilia Nadal of Gitana Productions. She's the founder of Gitana Productions, and this all started in 1997, is that right?
1997, yes.
Talk about Gitana, who you are and what you guys do.
And all of that.
Absolutely.
Sure. I actually was sitting in my living room with a rather dynamic group of people. One was a former dancer with the Alvin Ailey Dance Troupe, who was a former University City resident.
Yes.
And principal dancer, Danny Clark. Then I had a marketing person in there, and we were playing marketing as well as social services. It was very eclectic. We were playing gypsy music. Oh. And we were talking and doing the stuff that you do after several glasses of wine.
Yeah.
And we all came to the conclusion that it would be a wonderful thing to be able to bring people closer together through music, dance, and drama, and really enjoy all the things that we had experienced with the rest of the world. So as we were talking, someone said, well, why don't you guys start something and make it happen here in St. Louis? And Danny, of course, jumped up and said, that's exactly what needs to happen. And Cecilia, you need to do the marketing and business. So he appointed me, or anointed me, depending on how you look at it. And so it was then that we decided to start the organization with the goal of helping St. Louis to become gentler and kinder and more accepting of other cultures through music, dance, and drama.
Do you feel like in 2012 we're closer to that, or?
I think we're closer, but it's still hard work. There are a lot of reasons for that too, Ivy. For example, people are just working harder now, don't have extra time to enjoy themselves.
That's true.
Which really worries me. I have to say that we also have competition with Facebook. I know people who are my age who spend 2 and 3 hours on Facebook.
Wow.
And so there's a lot of distractions that are there. So that means that our ability to just get out and consume new experiences that might open our eyes and get us to do something different, we don't have the time for it. So it's tough. We have to sort of get into people's faces to get them to move.
Speaking of that,
yes.
I like that it's more than just attending a performance with Gitana when you put on a production. And like, for example, in late April, you not only had the performance, but you also had the producer and director, like a conversation with the cast and stuff.
Yes.
So that it's a social interaction, and you really feel like you have not only witnessed something, but experienced
That's
something.
absolutely right. And I'm so glad that you noted that, because we do say to everyone that our work off stage is just as important as our work on stage. When we reach out to the Muslim community, the African community, the Chinese community, and we sit down and just share stories and things like that, that's all very important.
How can St. Louisans be more purposeful about that?
I think they've got to get hooked on cross-cultural engagement. If you and I were sitting around a table and we were talking about our children going to Europe or to Africa, we would both know that the experience that our children would have would be remarkable, that they would come back transformed. Yes. People need to understand that that can happen right here. Yes. If we reach out to other people, we can be so ignited with the interest and the energy that comes from their experiences that it's something that we should sort of plan into our lives. So that's what needs to happen.
Talk about the education component of
what we do?
Yes.
Sure. Well, it's 2 levels to that, to the education component. One is very direct. We found out that a lot of kids in the South Side were in conflict with each other, particularly immigrants and African Americans. And we also found out that there were some immigrants living in the North Side in kind of a cloistered conclave and not involved with the community around them at all. Okay. So when we landed these saw these 2 places and got in contact with some people there, we thought we could be good ambassadors to help those groups come together. And indeed, that's what we've done for 5 years now. We've been working with African American kids and kids from all over the world to get them to understand each other through the use of music, dance, and drama. And we've also done that on the North Side too. And it's been phenomenal. Imagine, as an example, a young Liberian girl who's in the class dancing with African Americans, and we asked the question, what was your life like before you came to St. Louis? And she says, I lived in the forest.
Oh, yeah.
And then the kids say, what? You know, and of course, these are urban savvy kids. Tell us about that. And she gently talks about how in the morning they get up and they sing to the men who are tilling the land. And then they come and make the food and bring it back to them. Now, Liberia, of course, was started by Marcus Garvey. So all of a sudden we connect the kids that are here to who started Liberia and the forest, and there is this interchange that happens between them that has context, that has depth, that has history, and they're changed by that.
Well,
especially if that keeps going.
New production coming up, and we're going to tell you a little bit more about it when we come back. I know you're anxious to hear more about the education component as well as the new production Gitana's putting on. So don't go anywhere. We'll have more with Cecilia when we come back. And remember, you can keep up with STL TV and all the great events going on around St. Louis, including Gitana Productions as well, but by friending us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can always watch all of our programming streaming live on stltv.net. We're back with more right after this.